Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to slow things down a bit. We're taking a deep, measured journey into a space that, honestly, we rarely acknowledge: the shadows of the human mind. We're pulling back the curtain on the dark, incredibly calculated psychological tricks that are deployed every single day by politicians, corporate salespeople, and everyday manipulators. Now, I want to be absolutely clear right out of the gate. We are uncovering these tactics strictly as a manual for self-defense. It's about illuminating these hidden mechanisms so you can actually protect yourself. All right, let's step into this dark architecture of influence.
So ask yourself, are your decisions truly yours? I mean, we all love to think we're in total control of our choices, right? But the reality we're diving into today shows that the human brain actually contains hidden glitches, literal blind spots that are constantly being exploited. And the fascinating, and yeah, kind of unsettling truth is once you step into the shadows and see exactly how these glitches are manipulated, it is absolutely impossible to look at the world the same way again.
Let's start with our first glitch: revenge psychology. This one is wild because it basically hacks our instinctual resistance. Think about it. If someone tells a vulnerable mind to skip this part or don't look behind you, what happens? It immediately triggers this totally irresistible, subconscious urge to do the exact opposite. You're not acting on your own desire anymore. You are reacting to their prohibition. It's like a psychological reflex.
Deploying this tactic usually breaks down into three pretty calculated steps. First, you present a challenge, like telling someone you know for a fact they can't possibly finish a project on time. Second, you suggest the opposite, maybe claiming a task is just too boring for them to handle anyway. And third, you project zero expectations. By acting like you expect absolutely nothing from them, they are suddenly driven to give 100%. Why? Just to prove you wrong. The strings get pulled and the target dances.
Which brings us to trick number 2, the illusion of choice, the architect of false freedom.
To really ground this dark reality, we have to look at behavioral science. The expert Richard Shotton hit the nail on the head when he said, "Our decisions are not logical, they are predictable." The key here is a massive flaw in human processing. When our brain is presented with fixed options, it instantly creates tunnel vision. It completely fails to zoom out and look for a third alternative. This tactic is devastatingly effective because it makes you feel entirely in control of your destiny, while in reality, the manipulators secretly rigged the outcome from the very beginning.
Let's look at how this actually plays out in everyday life. The illusion pits option A against option B. We see this all the time, right? Buy one, get one sales. Or, when asking a date, comedy or thriller. Or asking a friend, "Hey, are you buying me momos or a burger today?" You feel empowered because, hey, you made the choice. But look at the hidden reality. No matter what you choose, the manipulator wins. You bought the product. You went on the date. They got the free meal. Your compliance was completely guaranteed from the start.
Moving even deeper, we hit trick number 3, weaponizing fear, the architecture of subconscious control.
This one isn't about clever wordplay. This is designed to completely bypass your logical reasoning by aggressively triggering your primal survival instincts. And the spectrum of fear-mongering is honestly chilling. Historically, we saw this with figures like Hitler, using propaganda to manufacture pure existential dread. Today, it echoes in political narratives warning that the country is in danger if you don't vote a certain way. We see it in the corporate world, too, with artificial scarcity. You know, the sheer panic of the last day of offer emails. But perhaps the darkest application is in toxic relationships through something called love bombing. A manipulator floods a target with intense affection, only to abruptly withdraw it. This sudden, freezing absence creates a terrifying fear of abandonment, leaving the victim entirely compliant, just desperate to win back that illusion of love. Next is the mirror effect, also known as the chameleon manipulation. Shifting into the psychological shadows of identity, we find a deeply unsettling concept. It's about reflecting a target's own traits right back at them to manufacture absolute trust. A chameleon manipulator shifts their entire persona based on whoever happens to be standing in front of them. If the target loves cricket, suddenly, boom, they are a massive cricket fanatic. If the target is hyper-focused on their studies, they pivot instantly to talking about top-tier academics. By seamlessly morphing into a mirror reflection of the victim, they manufacture this fake soul connection. The victim becomes totally addicted to the artificial comfort, completely unaware that their own code has just been cracked. And this tactic can quickly escalate into what's called the mirror neuron hack. Now, to be clear, this is not authentic empathy. A manipulator will mirror your exact level of anger in an argument, literally weaponizing your own emotions to silently break your ego without making a single accusation. Or they'll use a connection hack. They slightly delay and then repeat your exact words back to you in your exact tone. If you sigh and say you're tired, they pause and softly say, "Yes, you are really tired." This artificially hacks the mirror neurons in your brain. It tricks your subconscious into believing this person understands you on a profound, almost spiritual level.
Trick number 6. The power of silence. The unseen weight of unspoken words.
True psychological dominance in any room isn't loud. It's not found in shouting or dominating a conversation. Actually, it is found in the calculated, heavy absence of sound. Take a moment right now to feel the weight of this pause. Notice how incredibly heavy those few seconds felt? Just as a father's brief, disapproving silence carries immensely more weight than 100 loud scoldings, a deliberate pause creates an immense, suffocating psychological pressure on the person sitting across from you.
So what does this silence actually achieve? Well, looking silently into someone's eyes right after they finish speaking makes them desperately uncomfortable. Human nature absolutely hates a vacuum. So to fill that void, the target is forced to over-explain themselves. They start rambling, and in doing so they almost always leak hidden secrets or insecurities. Meanwhile, the silent observer projects absolute dominance, cultivating a profound mystery and a deep, deep respect without uttering a single syllable.
And that brings us to our final psychological glitch, the consistency trap, the foot in the door. This trap perfectly illustrates how a microscopic, seemingly innocent initial agreement is slowly weaponized into an inescapable web of compliance. The deadly sequence always begins with step 1, the small yes. You know, asking for a tiny favor, like a 1-minute reply to a text or just borrowing a pen. It's way too small to say no to. But then comes step 2, amplifying the problem. Suddenly, the emotional stakes are raised. It's no longer just asking to copy some notes. It's claiming, if I don't get these notes right now, I'm literally going to fail a test tomorrow. Because the victim already agreed to the small favor, their brain is now trapped in a consistency loop. They justify helping out again, which inevitably leads to step 3, total surrender. They find themselves entirely unable to say no.
So now that you can see the strings, who is pulling yours? The shadows of the mind are very real, and these tactics are playing out around us every single day. I strongly urge you to take this knowledge and use it strictly as a defensive shield. Recognize the chameleon when they mirror you. Notice the illusion of choice when you're given only 2 options. Withstand the heavy silence without breaking. Use this awareness to build an unbreakable confidence, and always question the true nature of the interactions in your everyday life. Stay observant, stay protected, and keep learning.